Other women in your family may have negative experiences with men and they blame the men rather than focusing on what they could have done differently. You got women in your family like this? This paints a general picture that men are bad, that they hurt people, that they can't be trusted, or they are all around unnecessary. You got women in your family like that? Thank you, Tia, for speaking up. Hearing these things consistently, y'all, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the psych part of this. Hearing these things consistently affects your schema, which is basically your map. In this context, that's essentially the map of a man and how relationships go. So this affects the way that you interact with and think about men. So it affects your outcomes. No one gets away from this. And what you don't want to do, especially if you're not getting the outcomes you want, what you don't want to do is be like, that ain't me. It's everybody. So sometimes our defense, okay, and our ignorance, it's not good to be defensive and ignorant, to not know and then be pushing away the truth. That's a bad place to be. It's not good to be defensive and ignorant. So when it's like, that's not me, like I'm the chain breaker, but you ain't done nothing to break no chain, you not that. You want to be that and you can be that, but you got to be real about the kinds of things that have been essentially programmed into you. So if you've had consistent messages told to you, taught to you about men and relationships, and when it's been consistently negative and painful, that affects in your subconscious, your schema, your map of how relationships should go, your map of how men are and who men are. Are y'all following? You may not match exactly what the women in your family look like or act like, but those messages no doubt get seated in your subconscious, and whether you act like them outwardly or not, those messages are there and they're affecting you. I don't know how much more clearer I could say it. It's not likely, y'all, that you'd be able to uncover all of this on your own. It's in your subconscious because it's subconscious. You're not conscious of it. Okay? So therapy helps. Therapy helps. It can be helpful, y'all, to have a conversation with your father. If your parents are divorced, even if your parents are married in the same house, and if you have issues with your adult relationships now, ask that man. Because men be quiet. Most men, they be so quiet about what they dealt with your mother. They be so quiet. Men do not get enough. I'm so serious, y'all. Men do not get enough credit for how they protect your mother's image, because they don't want you to lose out on having a mom. They don't want you to be looking at your mom crazy. So they be quiet until they're invited. And you be like, what's up? Okay. So it can be helpful to have a conversation with your father or your mother's father, your grandfather, about your mother and what their experience is, because they're looking at her not with the eyes of a child. They're looking at her as a man, okay, who has a different type of intimate relationship with her. I recommend, if you open that up, to do that with the help of a therapist, so you don't open up something that you can't manage and you have support through it, okay? Your mother is not your wife or your girlfriend. So people who experienced her as that have a different perspective, because they're not looking at her through the eyes of her child. You cannot underestimate this, how much love and attachment distorts our perception.